Now let's go for Cajun whiskey-based cocktails. And the most famous one, it's a sweet Manhattan. But normally in bars, when we order Manhattan, I would like a Manhattan. Automatically, it's a sweet. And I'm using a chilled cocktail glass. This cocktail should be stirred. Means we have to use a mixing glass with the bar spoon, one good scoop of ice. And now for a sweet Manhattan, we have to use a special sauce. And this sauce is Angostura bitters. 2 drops of this sauce. Sauce is pretty strong. Now for a sweet Manhattan, of course, we have to use red vermouth because red vermouth is the sweetest vermouth. 3/4 ounce of red vermouth. And 1 3/4 ounces of Seagram's VO. Seagram's VO is one of the most famous Cajun whiskey. 1 3/4 ounces. Use the bar spoon, 2-3 spins. Strainer on the top. Empty the cocktail glass. And again, it's a nice chilled cocktail glass. And fill the glass. And of course, the cocktail will be garnished with a nice cherry on the pick. And there is another variation. It's a bourbon Manhattan. What's a bourbon Manhattan? Instead of Cajun whiskey, you use a bourbon. Jack Daniels or Wild Turkey, any bourbon. It's up to you. Like I told you many times, we never refuse a special request. But like a bourbon Manhattan, in this case, use a bourbon. I would like a Crown or Royal Manhattan, in this case. You're going to use the best, the highest quality of our Cajun whiskeys, Crown Royal. Of course, there is an extra for a Crown Royal Manhattan. Instead of $5, probably, that would be $7.50. Of course, we're using the best quality. Okay, now, after the sweet Manhattan, now it's time for old-fashioned cocktail. Of course, for an old-fashioned cocktail, we have to use an old-fashioned glass. Makes sense. And to prepare this cocktail, we're using the easiest way, direct. Means we don't have to shake, we don't have to stir. It's just doing everything directly into the glass. Of course, when you do it, you have to clean your hands. 1 orange slice and 1 lemon slice on the bottom of the glass, inside of the glass. Now, 1 teaspoon of sugar. All the time, I'm using fruit sugar. Now, 2 drops of Angostura bitters. And with a teaspoon, or if you have a wooden muddler, you have to crush all fruits to get a syrup. It's a great cocktail, believe me, but during the rush hours, it's not my favorite one, of course. But it's a great cocktail. Of course, when we do it for our customers, of course. And to get this syrup. Okay. Now, few ice cubes. 1 1/4 ounces of Seagram's VO. It's a very famous brand name. And fill it up with club soda. And in a high-class dining room or a high-class nightclub, we're going to serve the mixer on the side. In this case, if you have to serve the mixer on the side, you have to use a small decanter, like this one. And you'll leave it on the side, or you're going to use a tiny bottle of club soda on the side. Fill it up with club soda. And the decoration will be a cherry on the pig. And that will be a nice old-fashioned cocktail. Normally, we drink these two cocktails before the meal. These cocktails are aperitif. Next one. The next Cajun whiskey-based cocktail is a very famous cocktail. The name of this cocktail is Whiskey Sour. Of course, for Whiskey Sour, you have to use a sour glass. Makes sense. And the cocktail will be shaken. Use a mixing glass. 3, 4, 1 1/4 ounces of a sour mix or lemon juice. Few ice cubes. 1 teaspoon of sugar. And 1 1/4 ounces of Cajun whiskey. I'm using the Seagram's VO. But of course, if money is an object, but use a good Crown or Royal, of course. And with the shaker, with this little shaker, you have to shake the cocktail. Shake it well to get a foamy cocktail. The main reason why we have to shake a cocktail is for the foam. It's a very easy technique. When you know how to use a shaker, that will be a real pleasure for you to prepare your cocktails in front of your customers, and means you're making money. That's the main reason why we work in bar business. Now, 2 or 3 spins, and don't spin too hard because you don't want to splash your customers. Huh? Oh, look, it's a nice foamy cocktail. And all the time, keep the bar clean. And decoration will be a cherry on a pig. Now, the next cocktail, it's John Collins. Of course, we have to